A Rasa Ride Sharing Company, ARASA. A Rasa Ride Sharing Company, ARASA.ca என்ற இணையதளத்துக்கு சென்று A Rasa Drivers ஆப்பினை டவுன்லோட் செய்து டிரைவர்ஸாக வேலை வாய்ப்பை பெறுங்கள். மாதாந்தம் $4000 வரை சம்பாதியுங்கள். வணிக நிறுவனங்கள் A Rasa இணையதளத்தின் மூலம் மளிகை பொருட்கள் மற்றும் உணவுப் பொருட்களை விற்பதோடு வாடிக்கையாளர்களுக்கு டெலிவரி செய்யலாம். தமிழில் தகவல்களை அறியாளையுங்கள். GTA பற்றி 40 ஆண்டுகள் அறிந்து கொண்டவரும் வீடு விற்பனை துறை ஊடாக மக்களால் அறியப்பட்டவருமான சிவா பிள்ளை. 416-854-0005. Taxi broker licensed by City of Toronto. A Rasa Ride Sharing Company, ARASA.ca என்ற இணையதளத்துக்கு சென்று A Rasa Drivers ஆப்பினை டவுன்லோட் செய்து டிரைவர்ஸாக வேலை வாய்ப்பை பெறுங்கள். மாதாந்தம் $4000 வரை சம்பாதியுங்கள். வணிக நிறுவனங்கள் A Rasa இணையதளத்தின் மூலம் மளிகை பொருட்கள் மற்றும் உணவுப் பொருட்களை விற்பதோடு வாடிக்கையாளர்களுக்கு டெலிவரி செய்யலாம். தமிழில் தகவல்களை அறியாளையுங்கள். GTA பற்றி 40 ஆண்டுகள் அறிந்து கொண்டவரும் வீடு விற்பனை துறை ஊடாக மக்களால் அறியப்பட்டவருமான சிவா பிள்ளை. 416-854-0005. Taxi broker licensed by City of Toronto.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we will start to look at few things right now. As I sent the message today, beginning of the Zoom meeting at 9:30, we will discuss City of Toronto property auction, today market updates, Bank of Canada interest rate increase and current appraised value changes, how that affecting the today's market. All right, first I'd like to go to the City of Toronto. City of Toronto.
Okay, Terry,
City of Toronto posted. I'll go back to my.
Can everyone just mute themselves? Perfect. Go ahead.
Yes, the conversation started from yesterday. One of the salesperson sent me the City of Toronto website. They posted 11 properties. The 11 properties they posted for auction. The way then he asked me, can you explain me, Silvana, in the Zoom how to contact the auction for the city auction. Okay, I'll go through this one basically for everybody to understand. Every city is not only City of Toronto, all of the cities are putting the houses for auction. The way is the auction work. I've been there 2-3 auctions in my my practice, at 2 in Oshawa and 1 in Clarington, I believe. Okay, the way it works, if someone doesn't pay the property taxes, for example, we all need to pay the property taxes. If the owner of the property doesn't pay the property taxes, the city get the property tax bill. The city look at the value of the bill, for example, 2 or 3 or how many years the person didn't pay for the property taxes. They send the notice, the reminders notice. After that one, if the property come with the property have a mortgages, they send the letter to the mortgage company, the private mortgage companies or banks or anything. City, whenever the city send the reminder for the homeowner, they send the reminder for the mortgage companies, first mortgage companies or second mortgage companies and everywhere. If the property come with there is no mortgage, number one, there is no mortgage, or the mortgage company feel like the private mortgage company feel like I don't want to get involved, some reason. Most of the time, my experience, the properties doesn't have any mortgages. In that case, the owner not to react for the property tax notice from the bill from the property tax department. They even send the letter with the courier and they try their best. Finally, what they do, they will post their website, the property arrears, how much money arrears for this particular property. And they put the notice, they want to go for the auction. Their intention, the property tax department, their intention only collect the property tax bill, whatever the bill is owing. That means, for example, I can tell you before I tell this website, I went to the auction. That day I went for the Stevenson Road in Oshawa. The Stevenson Road, that's the land, around 10 acres land. That time means not too far away, 5 years ago maybe. The property tax arrears for the particular land, $120,000, $125,000. Then the city said, minimum starting point for the auction, how much money? That's based on how much the property tax arrears, and until the closing date, they may put some percentage up. Then the city auction always start based on the value of the money outstanding for the particular city. Even one of the house that day when I was in the Oshawa city auction, one of the house, they started the auction only $15,000. But you can see it. You cannot see it. You can see only outside. What you can do, before I go this one, I think I started a little bit in the middle. How you can find out? How can you find out? You can visit the city and you can ask the city when is auction and which website I can see it, or else you can do the research on the online research. And what are the properties are posted, and what are the properties? When is the date of the auction? You can find out from each and every municipalities. Mostly, last few years we didn't see the property prices went up, and the city of Toronto mostly everybody property come with the mortgages. Mostly, if you go to Clarington or city of Clarington or Belleville, another place, not Markham Beach, near to Markham Beach, those areas, if the land come, mostly the land, there is no mortgages, the person dies and there is no will, nobody taking over, is come there. Or else even though the person alive and they don't care, is come to the Auction. Okay, I tell you the auction, how to work the auction. They have a set price, set date and set price. The set date, they will announce at least 6 months in advance. And the set date, the date, what you have to do, whatever the offer you're going to give them. For example, that day, I'm putting myself as an example. I started with 400,000, that 125,000 land. I started with 400,000. You have to go with 20% deposit, 10% as a initial deposit, and you can they can give the forms, and you can fill out the forms and seal the envelope, and you're going to place the envelope. The city officers come and they sit down and open one by one each envelopes, and which one is come higher, they will give to the person. You can't that particular auction day, if you started with 400, you cannot say I want to go for 450. The set time, for example, auction starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 1 o'clock, they will say that's it. The cutoff time finish 1 o'clock. Then the officers start at 2 o'clock. You cannot give any price after that one. That's the way the auction. One time you can bet, and you can wait for that one. And this particular salesperson in the website, there are many properties, vacant land, one vacant land, second commercial residential property, industrial property, another commercial property, large commercial properties, rented property, and there are condominium units, either condominium or freehold units is in Spadina Avenue, totally 11 properties. I believe it's 11 properties. So anybody can go to City of Toronto under the auction. And the first property, I can tell you, I don't give you the address, because the salesperson who sent it, he may not going to like it sometime. It's all everybody, any one of you is available for all Toronto people. So anybody can go and do it. And the property price, they started with one industrial vacant land, 954,489.99, because that's a bill, that's a settlement bill for the city some reason. Other one is starting up to 954, and even there are some lowest one I seen. The lowest one I seen is 35,000. It's one of the land, it's a commercial vacant land, $35,992. Anybody you want to go to the City of Toronto website and find the city auctions and find out yourself. This is the way it works for the auction, guys. Not only City of Toronto, the market is changing right now. You can even go for different municipalities and you try different auction. Okay, that's for the city auction. Any questions, please come out and ask me a question about the city auction side. The next one, I want to go through the Bank of Canada interest rate changes. Yes, Bank of Canada interest rate changes this year. The third time in a row, Bank of Canada changed it. It's not a new news for you guys. Everybody, you guys know this news. March 2nd, 0.25% increase. April 13th, 0.5% increase. June 1st, another 0.5% increase. Now we are standing with 1.5%. If anybody, you can go to Google and type in Bank of Canada's interest rate since whichever year you want it. You can see it in 1991. You can see 13.8% high, Bank of Canada's rate. Now we are still 1.5%. I believe it's 1991. One single day, one single time they hike 1% hike for the one single time. There are histories there. Now we are standing 1.5%. This year, the first one 2.25, and second one April 13 really impacted our industry for the consumer confidence rather than the interest rate. Consumer confidence, that was one issue for us on the April. June 1st, not too many people talk about that one. Even every media is focusing for the provincial election rather than the Bank of Canada's interest rate changes. Yes, we seen, because we also expected that one. And we have another expectation, another 0.5. If the government stops with the 2%, up to 2%, I don't think it's going to be, it's an expected one, and this is necessary for the country's inflation control, 6.8% inflation control. We need this one, otherwise our industry, not only our industry, every goods and services goes up, and the inflation make the country recession. In this case, we don't need to worry too much, guys. Don't worry about too much. And we had to change our model. I'm talking right now around 60 agents. We are in the real estate group. Make it positive. Whatever happening in our life, we have to make it positive. What I can advise you, what I am going to do myself too, at least buy 2-3 properties when the market goes down. That's what I would say. You invest. You look for the right product and you can invest right now. And the second thing, target for the buyers. There are so many buyers was waiting all this time. There are so many buyers was waiting all this time to buy. They missed the chance. Now is the right time for them to buy. In that case, work with the buyers. Change your model of the business. You still can make the same amount of money, because look at Toronto real estate website. We all have the trap access. Look at the website. Look at the market data. How many transactions are closing it. In that case, be confident and work harder. Last 2 years, a little bit easy money came to our pocket. Now a little bit work harder. That's what I would say. And as a broker of record, managing with 650 agents, I'm getting the calls almost every day. This is not a negative news, guys, Saturday morning, but I'm getting the calls from every agent. At least 5 deals, average 5 deals we cannot able to close every week now. That's been one deal a week at least. We can able to close it because many reasons. I started to get more legal issues right now. I already received yesterday 1 letter and already 2 letters from the lawyers suing for the deposit and this and that. I know I'm going to get busy with these ones. Clients, if they close the deal happily, they don't care. If they don't close the deal, what happened? They come and blame the agents. Yesterday, the clients blaming the agent. Then the lawyers send the letter to the salesperson as well as the office and telling the office, I didn't give enough training for the salesperson and this and that. This is the normal thing, guys. Very careful. Each and every text message is very careful. If you are introduce the mortgage broker, don't take the responsibilities. Don't communicate with the mortgage broker and the clients yourself. That's going to be against you. For example, mortgage broker is telling you, don't worry about it. In 2 days' time, we can close the transaction. You are passing the message to the clients. That means you are taking over. You are responsible for the mortgage. That's an issue. When we introduce the mortgage brokers, maybe officially we are giving some information by text message or email. Please put 2-3 agents, the 2-3 mortgage brokers' name. After that one, you call them and tell them who to go, whatever. Very carefully handle, because we are going to look for some cases. And appraisal value coming lower. And even yesterday, one of the salesperson said, he might be in the group right now. I'm not sure. The buyers want to talk to me. I asked him why. He can't able to close the transaction. They want to leave this deal and they want to buy other house within a week. I told him, he's losing the deposit. Not only losing the deposit, we know that one. We all know this is not a new thing to teach you guys. If we have a deal and we don't close the transaction, of course they can sue for the deposit. Deposit is a good faith deposit. That can easily sue. The seller can sue the very first deposit. The second deposit go to the lawyer's trust account. How the lawyer going to handle it? The lawyer going to handle it is different than the first deposit. First deposit is going to be under the law. When you go for the deposit, suing the deposit, seller suing the deposit, the buyer, the courts treat differently for the first deposit as a good faith deposit. Second deposit, securing the deal deposit. They treat a little bit differently, those ones. Yesterday, one of the transaction, the further deposit, instead of go to the lawyers, came to our real estate office. Careful on those one. Don't make any mistakes, because we had to be careful for this. These situations are a little bit harder, because the clients, in case they cannot able to close the transaction, they was looking for the chance to sue the salespeople. Then another deal 2-3 days ago, I was talking to different lawyers, including Rishani, and not only Rishani, another law firm. double the size of Shani's firm. They're saying they can't able to close the transaction. It is a normal trend right now because of the changes. Guys. Carefully handle. Don't get in the legal trouble, but try to advise them to close a transaction. And it's a paper money. The real estate value also like a paper money sometime. The paper the value went up so much and value come down. It's go back again. That's a trend. And tell them to close a transaction with the private financing or whatever the way you can do it. Don't get involved yourself too much for the financing side. Help them without any paper trails in your hand. And the last part before I leave, okay, one of the agent, he didn't close the transaction for last 2-time extension. Then he make the mutual release asking for the full full deposit to the buyers. I told him go realistic. But this won't happen. But he said my buyer asking the deposit to me. Then what I can do? I had to ask. Nothing wrong with him anyway. What I'm saying, please educate yourself. Bring the questions to me. Ask the questions. Don't give too much information. Refer to the lawyer. Let the lawyers handle. Okay, today Kannan arranges Subhendra. Subhendra is not a new person to us. Subhendra helping us from the beginning so many times. He's going to teach you here for the social media for realtors. And Kanna, maybe if Subhendra is ready, you can bring Subhendra. Hi, Subhendra.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you for helping us. Thank you for helping us. Okay, you can take over from me and you can continue. Thank you.
Awesome, good stuff. Thank you. Kannan, I'm a host, right?
You have screen sharing abilities.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Awesome, guys. Hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Appreciate all you guys being here on this special day. It's great to have you all here. In my case, what I will be helping out with, I know a lot of you were a part of the previous social media session that we had previously. I gave some components in regards to how to elevate your presence on social. As you are well aware, this is a new thing that's kind of taken on the approach of real estate within the past decade. The way that people initiated their content and letting people know about themselves, the community they work under, highlighting various listings that they have. These are various things that I would heavily suggest in regards to taking on. For many of you who haven't opened up an Instagram account, I heavily suggest you do. For certain reasons, it will really help you out in regarding elevating your presence on social. But in addition to that, it also helps from a real estate perspective. If you're also selling products within the listings that you have. I know a lot of you are on Facebook, which is great. But there are other components which you can definitely take on. So as we spoke about last time, I know a lot of you were on it, the previous session we had, we kind of spoke about the app called Splice, which is obviously an option that a lot of people have used before. But there's some exciting news in the world of Instagram in general. They've recently took on the approach of starting up, obviously Reels that you're aware of. It's alone. Just give me 1 second. Let me just share my screen. Oh, there you go. Sorry, kind of just took you off. So I'm just going to share my screen right now. So this is a new component that I kind of wanted to give you an illustration towards. So this specifically, I just have it on my lock screen on my phone. So like I said, it's a new component that we used to use before. In the past, we used a thing called Splice that I'm sure some of you have saw what we did an example last video. So this was an example that we used before. It's a third-party app that I was informing you about. In the sense of editing your videos, it's more of the sense of you can hire people to obviously capture video content for you, which is absolutely great. But if you want to do an additional platform in the sense of capturing it yourself on your phone, you could do that as well too. And these are a couple of ways in going about it. From this app specifically, like how I mentioned last time, these are a couple of video options that you can use when it comes to editing your video content for social. However, there's some exciting news. Like I said, you don't really need to use this app anymore because there's a new component that Instagram recently brought out recently. I'll show you exactly how that works. So these are Reels, as many of you are aware. This option right here, like this option right here in the very bottom end where the play sign is at the very bottom corner in the middle. Okay, these are reels once again. So these are various options in regards to how people capture their video component. So it's a new way of illustrating kind of, your daily life. It varies on what type of brand you're trying to sell, right? In our case, it's real estate, right? So I have a couple of examples that I plan on showing you guys that other people have done before that may be useful in the sense of helping you out with creating your content. So here's a prime example. So this is one that I got through Reels. So I'm not sure if you can hear the audio on your end, but regardless, it's basically an audio playing. And as you could tell, this person captured whatever listing they have from their phone, and they were able to put it together with music right on top of it as well. And in addition to that, it clearly shows that the natures of the location alone. So this is a new component that Instagram recently brought on. I don't know if you could tell at the very bottom corner right over here as I'm sharing my screen, there's an option that has the camera icon. It says use template. So this is a new feature that they recently brought on to make the experience of basically creating your own content without having to have the hassle of downloading a third-party app to edit your videos. So this is a very exciting component that they added on. It makes it more user-friendly, and you could do it yourself without having to, break your bone in regards to learning. It's always great to learn. However, this is a new component that makes it a bit more tech savvy, or a bit more easier for users. So in the very bottom corner here, once again, you will come across it. The way you come across it, once again, for those of you who have Instagram, it's literally you pull up to the bottom right here where the play sign is, right? And you have various components of items to work with. So this is like an option where you can hear the song, you can see how the video looks like, and you're like, oh, I'm interested in looking to see how this component looks like. Let me use the same one. So you go to the very bottom corner right over here, you click that, and it automatically takes you to this spot right here. Once it takes you to this spot over here, you have the option to put your own clips in these seconds. So these are seconds that affiliated with the song. Let me actually cancel the sharing once again, and give me 1 second. I feel like it would be a lot easier with the audio on. So let me just do that all together. So audio, share sound. There you go. Okay, so it should be good now. Yeah, so once again, this is an option that you can consider when it comes to that specifically. Reason being is like you have the option to play around with these components of that. So again, at the very bottom corner, you have the play logo, right? Once on top of that, the very top of it, it says use template. If you click on that app right there, you have the option of basically working with these clips over here. And when you get to this stage, all you have to do is literally click on the 0.5. Like each one has a second. Again, it syncs with the song. You literally click on 0.7, 0.9, 0.6. You click on all of them and you add the images that you would like in there. So I'm going to click on the very bottom corner over here and press 0.7. So when you press 0.7, it automatically takes you to your photo gallery. So these are a couple of ones that I got previously. I set up for obviously today's session. So obviously you have people that come take pictures of your listing and your property, which is fantastic. For when the images that you do receive, what I would suggest you do is maybe create some type of creative components in the sense of promoting your listing, right? This is a great way of promoting your listing in the sense of you have great photos that the photographer took for you. So using those photos, you basically use it on this platform to let people know about your current listing. So this is the current listing that was from the past that I took on. So literally these are images that I have from the listing in my photo gallery. So you literally click the ones that you like to add to the song. So in this case, I have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 different clips at the very bottom over here, right? When you have 8 different clips at the very bottom, you're going to have to select 8 photos that you like. So I have ones done that I already did from a previous shooting. So I'm going to click on all of them, the ones that I want to use. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, again, you can pick and choose the ones you like. I'm just doing a couple of images that'll be beneficial for the clip. Right after that, it literally generates the reel. It says these are called the reels. So right after that, it puts the clip at the very bottom over here, and it's generating it to put it in each spot for you at the very bottom. And with the instrumental or the music that is on top of it, it goes in sync with the song alone. Again, this is a new component that Instagram recently brought on. It's an exciting feature that it kind of makes sense in the way of, highlighting a coming soon or letting people know, hey, there's this current spot just on McCowan and 401 or whatever, that's it's a current condo that's listed there that I currently have a listing of. These are the shots that I want to kind of promote and go from there. So these are shots you could say use as a coming soon. So right after you do that, you're happy with how the clips are, you hear the instrumental and it's all in sync, it looks great to you. And once you do that, you basically, right after, you go to next, the very bottom corner. Once you go next to the very bottom corner, it's going to take you to this page right over here. Give me 1 second, let me just move this around. As you can tell from the very top, there's different ways of moving around with this component. There's multiple options that I'll kind of illustrate what these icons are. This one right over here with the plus down is basically you can download the video for other purposes. For the sense of if you want to save the video and post it up on Facebook as well, you have the option to do so. This option over here, this is your music. In this case, we used a template from a previous one, so you don't need to click your own song again because you already have a song ready from what you used as a template, right? Because this video is going according to a previous one that we liked already, if that makes perfect sense. The one right beside it that has an option if you want to add filters to it, you could if you want. I suggest not to, just because the person who took your photos, they already did a great job in the sense of editing it for you. I don't suggest you add the extra filter on top of it, so it's not necessary. So I definitely suggest taking that out so you don't have to use it. Again, it's right over here. It's like a special effects in the sense of adding a filter on top. Again, it's up to you if you'd like to. However, you want to kind of make it more natural and simple as base so people could tell exactly what it looks like, right? So it's an option that you can consider. The one right beside it with the little smiley face, little sticky note, if you click onto that, you have other options to work with. So you can, obviously you could tell these are, in my way, it varies on if you're interested or not. You don't have to really use them. They're kind of like stickers. This one right here is it's called captions. If there's ever a time where you do a voiceover for the video, then that would be great to do. Or if there's anyone talking in the video, that would be obviously great to do as well too. But in those cases, you don't really have to. Again, since we're doing this as like a coming soon type of video, these are other options we can consider. This text note right here, if you click onto this guy that says AA, if you press on that option right over here, it'll give you a drop box with the text icon. So literally all you would have to do is be like coming soon. You can play around with the colors and literally drop that right on top, right over here. It gives you a brief template in regards to where you're going about it. So you put that right at the top over here. And you can do another text right on top saying it's literally at Markham and 401, like literally you can specify the intersection to make it a bit more elaborate so people can understand where it's exactly located. So in your case, you literally place that right on top, right at the bottom over here, right? If you want, you can obviously move in a different direction and going about it. However, do remember, Instagram is a great option where, look, if you go down over here, it shows that you're going to be in the spots. Like right here, it would say you're out of the shot, so people won't be able to read what you have over here. So you can move around with it, but just make sure it's in a great spot. Right here, you usually have the comments, the likes, obviously the sharing button, etc. So you wouldn't really have it in this area. So I would personally suggest like doing it in the middle because it gets the attention of the person watching it, or literally pulling up to the side, the top corner over here, so it's not in the way. And it stands out of people's way, but you can still read it. It's legible to read because it's the colors are great and it goes from there. In addition to that, obviously picking colors that work for you. I know a lot of you, depending on what your brands are, some of you have like obviously green and black, purple, et cetera, et cetera. So like you want to kind of stick to color components that work with your brand. In my case, I chose these colors because they stand out a bit more. But there are potential options that you can consider as well. But when you literally move it in this context, it's in a way where it makes sense. You can easily see it right away. And this is a great way for people to see your video. So right away, they could tell that you have a listing coming up in Markham and 401, and they'll potentially reach out to you if they're interested in seeing the listing alone. In addition to that, the very bottom corner, you may see coming soon in Markham and 401. So these are additional components that they have available where you can time out which part of the clip you would like the text to show up. So say for instance, I want these two guys to appear at just only for 3 seconds roughly, right? So coming soon, if at the very bottom, right over here, for those of you who are watching, this is like, it says coming soon, and you're kind of highlighting when you want just the coming soon text to show up. So you could play around with it, have it for the whole video. If not, if you only want coming soon to show up for just obviously 2 seconds of the video, you can do that as well. At the very bottom, at the icon right over here, you could tell that there's a number at the bottom. So it kind of illustrates how long you want coming soon to show up. So in your case, if you want coming soon to show up for only 2 minutes, you can do that by doing it that way. So when you're done with it, look, it's gonna have coming soon there, and then eventually, hopefully it plays. We'll go to the next one. And that's, there you go. And then come back in. And now basically coming soon disappears. The reason being is if you want to play around with the text and not have the whole thing show up the entire time, that's perfectly fine. And then maybe say, for instance, I want coming soon for 1, and the next one I want Markham steals for 2 seconds. Again, all the actions right at the bottom over here. So just take a look at the bottom over here for everything. So again, coming soon comes for 2 seconds. And then the second half, you literally move it around. So you could move it where you put it right after. So coming soon is gone. See at the right at top, coming soon is left because it's past 2 seconds. You could put Markham in 401 right after that. So when you do Markham in 401 right after that, just Markham in 401 is going to be alone right over here. So once again, we'll watch the whole video. So coming soon disappears, and Markham in 401 shows right after. The reason why you do this is because you can add different text. It can make it pop out a bit more, so it's not constantly on it all the time. That's perfectly okay. And in addition to these texts, you can add extra ones as well too, right? 3 bedrooms, right? So you can add 3 bedrooms and add a caption for that as well too. And if you want to pop that at the very bottom, like you could do right over here, you can move around with the text once again. So right at the bottom over here, I put 3 bedrooms. You don't need 3 bedrooms for the entire thing. You can move around in the sense of where you want it to show up. So maybe I want it to show up within this time period, 4 seconds, like around that time frame. And you can move it around so it's just on thing, so you can focus on that, and you go from there. So once again, coming soon pops up, 3 bedrooms, mark them to 401. It pops up in the direction so people get a better context of it. When you do create this video, I highly suggest you organize it where you do pictures of the house, pictures of the front of the house, pictures of the kitchen, pictures of the bedroom, etc., etc. Like I said, these are different type of components in regards to templates. There's other ones as well too that you can suggest checking out. I saved a couple that I wanted to show you guys. So these are a couple other options as well too. This guy, he literally just had shots done of his house, and he used this template right at the bottom. It says the template right over here, Sunset Lover. You can find that if you search it up, right? But also you see at the bottom over here, it says use template. You click that option, you have the option to literally use what he has, but you can use your own pictures. So again, it's like 0.5s. They're all of 1.5 and 0.7. Again, these are according to the song that's currently playing. So when you watch these on your own time, you'll notice it goes onto the beat, it goes onto the rhythm of the song. So it makes it a bit more captivating and a bit more appealing to the naked eye when they do watch the video, right? So these are kind of a couple of scenarios that I would suggest that might be useful for that, where you can work around with the videos. So I think this is a great example that we can use. So once again, for those of you who are still trying to find it, so I can break it down a bit more. Literally at the very bottom over here, you click on that option, and these are reels. You can literally use them. Some of them, the use template doesn't show up. It varies on the person who posted it. If they give permission to, you can use that exact clip, which is perfectly fine. So like, here's a prime example. This one doesn't have it at the very bottom, right? But this one does. This one does, right? So all you have to do is literally click on use template. It'll take you to that spot right over here of what this gentleman did. A great video. It has a song right on top of it. And you can literally use your videos to go about it. So this is a video component. You can use photos or video. In your case, these are your clips at the very bottom once again. So they go according to the song. You click on the song, you click on the time slot, and at the very bottom, it gives you all your time slots, right? So these are the images that we used previously, right? That I used it specifically. I know a lot of you, for a brief, just to get a better context, A lot of the stuff that for MLS listing, it's specific dimensions and they're all landscape. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do if that's the scenario. So like, again, these are like images that were taken before and they're all landscape images, right? So in your context, what I would suggest you to do is there's a way of going about this. So obviously our phones are vertical. The dimensions of watching content on our feed is a lot more stretched nowadays compared to landscape, right? So what I would suggest in these cases, I changed these photos from landscape to these photos of close-ups, right? They're more close up, they're more in your face. They're better. So I'll show you what it looks like. So if you post these ones specifically on that platform, just to slow it down a bit more. So these are all images that I got from MLS listing, whatever, right? The very bottom, you press yes. Once it goes through, hopefully it goes through. There you go. So generating reel. Again, these are images that I use of just the landscape MLS listing photo. So these are all photos. What's wrong with this photo? The black spots that are on the bottom and the top of the pictures, you're wasting a lot of space. It's unnecessary, right? You have a certain amount of phone space on your phone that you want to take advantage of, right? So in this case, this is good. However, you can make it better by posting a picture of the entire thing. And the way you can do that, which I'll show you right now, is basically in your case. So this is a landscape photo, right? These are all landscape photos. You go to edit, right? Once you go to edit, at the very bottom corner, there's like a crop section over here. So you click on the crop one right at the very bottom. It takes you to this section over here, right? Once you go to the little square at the bottom, and now at the top right corner, these are dimensions that you could work with. I'm circling it for you guys so you can take a look. You literally click on that option, and then it takes you to cropping your photo. So these are a couple of options that the iPhone, and I know Android does the same thing as well. It's literally almost the same component. It gives you options in regards to what you want to do, right? So for photos that you want to take up the entire screen, you would have to use 16 by 9. So 16 by 9. So once again, the original is right here. 16 by 9 is right here. So you click on 16 by 9, right? However, the job's not done because the picture is still landscape, right? So if the picture is still landscape, see this bottom right here, landscape, portrait, the check mark right over here is currently on landscape. So you literally have to click the other one. Once you click the other one, boom, it changes it to more of a vertical concept. And when you crop the image, you basically want to make sure it's in the best part of the house. Like you don't want to obviously having this empty corner. You prefer to have it with the pillow setting, a bit more of a vibrant spot to showcase that it's a room, right? So what I would suggest is not putting it in a spot where you're happy with. You can move it around until you're happy with the spot. So once again, it's right there. I'm happy with that spot because it's a clean, transparent spot that kind of shows the effort that went into basically designing this room, whatnot, right? So once again, for those of you who are watching, I'll do it all over again. So it's that specific image, the very top right corner, you press edit. Once you go to edit, you go to the very bottom corner with the arrows going back and forth and the little square, click on that. It automatically takes you to this spot. Once you go to this spot, the top right corner, you have the 3 squares, right? I'm circling it for you guys. You click on that thing right at the top. It takes you these dimensions. These are other scenarios in the sense of different dimensions that you could work with. Like you can use these as well too. It's up to you. Usually 60 by 9 is the one that's apprehended for for photos for phones and whatnot in the real concept. So you go there and then you go right over here and then you basically press done and then you're good to go, right? So these are images that obviously you got from MLS listing. So you use that specific image. And then now I've done these previously. So these are all landscape images and I've done these already for other guys. So these are the other ones that I've done already. So just to save some time, these are options that I've done for. So these are landscape and these are the ones that I created are the vertical concept. So this one's way better just because it eats up more of the space on the phone. You can tell, it's a closer look for the viewer to see what the vibe of the house is, like what to look at, how to go about it. If you use this one, like, yeah, it's great. However, like you won't be able to have like a close-up concept of how it looks like, right? It's not more in your face and you want to take up as much real estate. We're talking about real estate. So you want to take up much real estate on your phone. Your phone is literally real estate in the sense of taking up the space, right? So you want to take up as much of the space as possible. So this is the past one we had, which is obviously what I said. I explained again. You don't need the black spots. Real estate, you want to take up as much real estate on the phone as possible. In this world we live in, especially with the way social media has changed with videos and whatnot, a lot of it's going vertical now, right? With TikTok, with Reels on Facebook and Instagram as well. So let's get out of this because we're not using this one anymore. So we go, once again, we're using this guy's concepts, right? With all the seconds at the very bottom, right? You press add media. Once you get to add media, you have the option of clicking the ones that I like over here. So you can play them around in the sense of, I want to do all the beds first. I want to do the kitchens later. I want to do the washroom after, right? So you do that and automatically it generates it for you. You give it a couple of seconds. At the very bottom, you can clearly tell what's being currently loaded right over here. And it tells you how long each one's going to be going for, right? So generating reel, let that run. Hopefully it comes up a bit faster. There you go. So there it goes. It does it according to the song, obviously. By the beat, by the song, it basically does it according to that. The very bottom, it tells the seconds, and it's a bit more of a straighter concept. So what's the great part about this? It clearly takes up the screen. So when you go to next, look at it. It's much better compared to the other concept because there's no black spots. It takes up more of the screen. There's no dead space. I call it dead space. You want to take advantage of all the space on your phone because it makes it a bit more appealing for people to see, and it makes you look better too. So I would consider doing it that option in the sense of that, right? However, there's also, I know a lot of you do obviously have MLS listings in the sense of pictures, but there's also concepts of video as well too. A lot of you, obviously, when you go to your property, and if you're trying to sell, if you want to get more of an in-person experience, it is great to obviously hire someone to do like the video concepts, and that's fantastic. But if you want to do like another component where it's a bit more different, another option that I would consider, once again, is doing the same thing for videos. So when we go back to here, like I said, I had previous ones that are landscape and portrait. So that's the difference. This is a portrait. So it kind of takes up the entire screen, right? And this is landscape, the one that I used before. That one's how a lot of MLS listing photos turn out. In your case, you have to change the dimensions for all of them and make it so it's compatible to the phone. So it makes it a bit more appealing. These are previous ones that I shot in the past before. So again, these are all landscape shots, right? These are all landscape shots of what I took. However, the thing with this is that, again, they're landscape, right? So what do you do in this case? You do the exact same thing once again. So let me say, for instance, I like this one. This one's already done. Never mind. What's one? We can do, this is fine. Literally this concept. So say, for instance, you go once again, this is a video that you captured on your phone, right? You want to kind of do like a first person perspective of like of how it would be like if you done it. So once again, this is a landscape concept. You go to edit at the very top again, right? They gave you the same options at the very bottom. You click on this guy right over here at the very bottom. Once it takes you here, it automatically takes you to this page. It's very similar component to the photo portion, where literally you click on the bottom right. You have the crop. You go to the very top again, where all the squares are. You click on that, and then it takes you to this page again, right again. So you have all your dimensions. You can play around with it. Preferably for if you're doing what we're talking about, we're talking about reels today. So in your case, you're going to be doing the exact same thing. So you click 16:9. Feel free to write those as notes or remember the number 16:9 because it'll be very helpful to you if you do consider doing this. So you press 16:9, and then you press, once again, this part right over here. This is landscape. We don't want that. We want this one. So you click that, and then you get to this section. And when you go to this part, you move it around so it makes sense in where you have it. So you kind of want to have it in a spot where, again, it illustrates the concept of the room, right? So once again, we're doing another better one. For kitchen, you can highlight obviously the island or et cetera, but this is various options of going about it. So you move it around. I like the spot specifically. You have it done, and all you have to do is press done. Once you do press done, it'll take you to this spot. And automatically the video is in this dimension, right? So it automatically does it for you in this context. Before it was the landscape version, but now it's this one. So that's done. in this case, what you do is, since I did a couple of them already previously, again, to save some time. So in your case, we would go through the camera gallery and pick all those ones that we like. So this one right over here was a landscape photo, but I changed it for us because we're doing this today. This one was a landscape photo, but I changed it already. This one and this one was a previous one that I didn't touch up. That's perfectly fine. So if you want, you can use a couple of these options, all the ones that, see, I'm clicking them right now. At the very top, it has like numbers. It kind of tells you what's number one, what's the first clip, what's the second clip, what's the third clip, et cetera, et cetera. And see, when you click it, it goes to the bottom. When you click it, it goes to the bottom. When you click it, it goes to the bottom. So as you can tell, every single one that you press, the clip shows at the very bottom of what clips are going to be popping up after the next song, after the next clip, after the next clip. And these are pre-done for you. Again, this is a new feature that Instagram recently bought on to make your experience of using this more user-friendly. Again, you can hire someone to do it, but at the same time, in your case, if you're at the property and if you want to shoot what the washroom's like, if you want to shoot what the bedroom's like, if you want to shoot what the kitchen's like, this is your way of doing it, and it's a great way for you to kind of go about it as well too, right? Because you're showing people the first person experience of how it looks, right? So these are a couple of options that I can consider for this song, right? So that one, I'm just doing it a lot quicker so we have add all them in, and then 3 more clips. Ran out of the other one. Well, we can do that one, and for the other ones remaining, we can use that one, but I should change it. That's perfectly fine though. So at the very end, it automatically, the screen gets darker and it shows you that you've used all your clips that you want to use, right? So I did a wide span of the external parts of the property, the internal parts of the property, the living room, obviously the kitchen, the washroom, et cetera, et cetera. This is a component for you to understand that you have a different way of going about it. So right now, it's basically generating the content for us. Right away, bum, 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 bum. Obviously, those ones should have been moved. Let me do that right now quickly, if you don't mind. We'll do it like that. So edits, crop there, up here, 69, move it to the center, done. It's that quick. Once you get the hang of it, you won't have any issues with doing it because I've done it like it's the back of my hand, so I have no issues with doing it. 69, crop it to the middle, done. It's that fast. And again, you can also play around with the filtering. Again, I don't like too much of it because you kind of want to make it a bit more, at the end of the day, you're selling this property. You don't want to go too glossy and add extra effects to it because you want to make sure it's as realistic and straightforward as possible so people can have a better feel for how it looks like. You can play around with the filters. It's up to you on which one you would like to use. I would suggest, these are pre-done ones, so I wouldn't consider using it. Once again, for those of you, let me just do it again. So at the very top right corner, you have edit. Once you do edit, you go to the very bottom corner over here. Again, the first one, we spoke about this, basically this entire session. This is the one that does cropping, right? So that's the one we do that. This one has pre-done filters. That's up to you. Obviously, you don't want to go for a black and white concept. You could if you want to go for like a classy feel. You can play around with it perfectly fine. However, this is the one that's they're all pre-done filters. But this one right here, you can work around with a sense of saturation and lighting. So say for instance, I want to play around with the saturation on this one. So you have a lot of different options, right? There's plenty of them, but I'll usually tell you the main ones that I use. So exposure, what it does is it increases lighting. So basically it makes the spot a bit more brighter, right? You can play around with it to make it like obviously stand out a bit more. There's so many of them. But obviously the main ones that I use is usually exposure and saturation. So saturation adds more light, adds a bit more color to your context. This is a different appeal. Obviously, it's a bedroom with teal pillows, right? But if there's something that's a bit more appealing that you want to highlight, you could definitely do that. So these are a couple of components that I can consider doing. These are something that you can play on your own time because there's so many of them to go through. However, the main ones that I usually touch are exposure and saturation, just because you want to add a bit more of a kick to the clip. However, you don't want to go all out and make it too crazy because at the end of the day, if a client comes in and checks out the property and if they go about what you saw in the thing, you want to make sure it's accurate to what you want, right? So yeah, once again, that's practically it. And you press done at the very bottom right corner and then you're good to go. So let's go back and start over in the sense of adding the clips. You go right over here, you click on all the clips that you like for this reel. As you can tell, I'm going through my camera roll. It's very easy for me to pick out all of them because this one has dead space. This one, it's all the ones that I've touched up and edited. So all the space is being taken care of. All the real estate on the phone is being taken care of. So you click on all the ones that you like, right? And I think we got it covered. Our bases are covered, so which is great. At the very bottom, we have all our clips. You press next. It's currently going through right now, so let's give it a second. But these are like new components that I would go about in the sense of Reels alone. It's something that's taken on the new approach of content creation. And now recently they came up with this component where you can use the same template. If you see stuff that you see like online, you're like, oh, I like that song. I like the way they did the beat. See, when you look at this, it looks very clean and transparent. Parts of the house, bum, 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 showing you parts of the house. So right away, the client could tell, oh, that's the external features, that's the house, that's the living room, that's the washroom, et cetera, right? So these are clips that you don't even have to do external third-party softwares to create the song, add clips to the song. It automatically does it for you. All you need to do is literally drag and drop it, and it places it in for you. You go to the very bottom section over here, which is next, right? This takes you back to where we started off at the beginning of the session with these guys over here. Again, you could add text saying where it's located. You could add, you could specify exactly what you want to highlight when it comes to that, right? So like the previous one we did where we wrote coming soon, Markham in 401. Maybe you could write down how many bedrooms, how many washrooms. I know I don't have the clips for these, but this is obviously located in Markham. So you could obviously highlight extra features by saying this is located. You can go, it takes a time on your end, but you would have the hustle to basically go to like the nearest GO station, take some videos of the nearest GO station, take some videos of the nearest metro showing that there's a grocery store nearby, right? Going to the nearest school, be like there's a school nearby, right? Going to the nearest university if there is a university. If you're an investor, if you're looking for an investor property, there are people that look for those certain type of things. You want to kind of highlight that, right? So in your case, it's going out and shooting spots in the area, and all you have to do is drag it and drop it into creating this video and literally telling people there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that, and then people can check it out if they want to on their own time. It's a creative way of going about it, right? In addition to this is the last stage I kind of wanted to show you in regards to this part. This is what you do before you post it. So what you would do in this case is literally type in the caption, right? So just save, let me go to, let's go to our HomeLife page. So HomeLife Future. We have some pre-done ones that we've done in the past. So it's a lot easier to use one of these guys. So we can use this one right over here. It's a caption that I already pre-done specifically, but for those of you who want to have like a better template of what a caption is, feel free to check out what we have on our HomeLife page. These are great examples of what you go about. Just to give you a brief illustration of what captions are. Right at the very beginning, you illustrate who the developer is or where the property is located. So people right off the bat could tell that, oh, this is where the property is located, which is great, right? In addition to that, at the very bottom, you have like a very brief breakdown. You want to make it as brief and precise as possible. Again, not a full essay, not a full paragraph of nonsense, because sometimes all this information, you can literally crop it down to make it so efficient. Right while reading this, I could tell right away, 3 minutes from Highway 427, 10 minutes from Boundary Things, so et cetera, right? So these are a couple of components. I gotta correct that, it's fine. But Pearson Airport, Woodbine Casino, right? So these are certain things that you can see right away off the bat of a specific unit, right? This is another example that we go about. So let me go to another one right here. So this is a good one as well too. So it kind of illustrates, it's located at St. Clair, right? It's located, this is the address of the location. These are the units. This is the amount of stories we have. This is the amount of condo units that are available. It's minutes away from the TTC, right? So this is a great example that I'm going to be using to highlight where it's located, what facilities are nearby, and basically the main components of it. And you also want to illustrate at the very bottom, at the end of the day, call to action. So give you a brief analysis. The very beginning is to talk about a very brief description of the location, right? Secondly, the middle part is highlighting the main features of the component, right? How big it is, how many washrooms and bedrooms are provided, right? So these are certain things that you can do with emojis and kind of highlighting the main components of it, right? So you want to put that in the specific spot. So this is step number 2. And highlight number 3 is highlighting how to get a hold of you. This is all great, but how am I supposed to get a hold of you? The very bottom, you're supposed to put that at the very end. You can put the number at the very bottom. We have it here in the graphic, which is perfectly fine. All you have to do is call that number if you're interested, right? So in your case, all you have to do is literally the very top bottom, explaining it, explain the property. Second part, main features. And lastly, call to action, right? These are certain things that feel free to write down. You could take our examples on the HomeLife site as examples of how to go about it, right? So let me just send that to myself through texting, and it's a lot easier that way. Done. Perfect. So it's in my text. Let me pull that back up right over here. So we're back here now. Let me just go to my text and grab that. Wrong one. Right over here. There we go. Copy out. So we go over to iMessage, sorry, Instagram, right at the top over here. We have captions, write a caption. So automatically paste it. This is the full caption right over here at the top with all the information. In your case, I would suggest you writing it in your notes on your iPhone or on your Android, just writing it in your notes, have it done easily. So that way you can see it properly before you copy and paste it. So all the information is right at the top over here, right? So say for instance, the one that we're currently working on, that specific video, this is current, say for that video that we worked on, it's located at St. Clair Avenue West. This is the amount of spots in the sense of how bedrooms and washrooms, et cetera, and going about it. So you have the caption done. Great. Next is highlighting the components of location. So we're highlighting that this location is in St. Clair West, right? So you put location. This is a great component to let people know where it's located, right? So at the very bottom over here, you have an option that says add location. You click add location, you go to St. Clair West, right? If you want to tag specific people, say for instance, if you work with another realtor, or if you want to tag your brokerage, which is HomeLife Future, if you want to tag your brokerage, you might as well do that too, because it's your brokerage at the end of the day. It would be great to give them a shout. They'll repost it on their feed, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a great way for you to let people know which brokerage you work for, right? In addition to that, you kind of highlight all the main components of it. Right here where it says edit cover, you click on that. It'll take you to this spot over here. So say there's a certain part of the house that you like. I like this part right here. So because it shows outside external features of the house, exterior parts of the house. I like it. It looks great. When you click that at the very bottom, you can play around with any other spot, right? Obviously, the main front of the house is usually the main component of it that people should have because it's the main selling point for most people. But you could always work around it. If you like the kitchen, you can do that, et cetera, et cetera. So I like this part of the clip that I like for my cover. At the very right, you can see that there's a profile grid. If you click on the profile grid, it automatically takes you to this section. So this is like a grid. This is basically what shows up on your feed. See the squares that we have over here? This is what it's referring to, right? So these are the squares that will be like your other previous posts, but this will show what it will look like on your main page, right? Again, you could work around it in the text of, if I added a text over this, like if we go back here and if I added a text over it at the very beginning, once it'll go to the very beginning. If I add a text at the very end, just saying St. Clair, let me just type it in, STCLAR West. I'd be like 900 St. Clair West, et cetera, vice versa. So you switch that over here, you put the number on. You can have it in the context of where you want it. So you can put it right at the very middle. It's up to you. You can play around with the time. I'm only doing this for the grid purpose. So you go back to the very beginning where you press edit cover, and then go to profile. Just go back here, edit cover. It should be at the very bottom. So see, like right here, and now it says 900 St. Clair West. And I wanted to show at the very front of the house. So you put that text right on top of it. You move it to the part of the exterior house that you like. And then you press profile grid at the very right. So it shows you an example of where it is. And when I do it right here, it automatically tells you St. Clair West, 900 St. Clair West. And then basically adding in the picture of the back of the exterior, and you're good to go. So when that's done, right off the bat, you're good to go. And all you gotta do is press share at the very bottom corner, and then the post will go up on your feed. And then you're good to go. Basically, what you just created here, you could just automatically put it up on your feed, and you're done. So again, these are components that you can use for other spots. At the very bottom, the very bottom corner, it has like an option that says use template. So these, again, I got a couple of examples for you guys that you can use. Like these are like this is one, same thing. This is another one at the very bottom, use template. If you like the song they're using, by all means, you can use their template. So this is obviously food related. However, it could be like an instrumental song. You can use it for other purposes as well too. So at the very bottom corner, you click on that. It takes you to this page and you add in all the clips and tricks that you like to make it to your advantage. Again, this is for a reel component. So like literally this very bottom corner over here. Let me just move this 1 second right over here. So at this very bottom corner over here, it's called Reels. You click use template. When you use template, you have different options of numbers. You add your own clips, and then you go on from there. This is a new component that recently took on from Instagram. You can use these on Facebook as well too. There's ways of going about it, but for IG specifically, you have it in the context of adding all the videos, adding all the images that you like, letting people know about your listing, and going from there. It's an interesting component that Instagram recently brought on to make it user-friendly and accessible to everybody. So you don't have to download a third-party app to create your videos for you. Literally, all you have to do is click on the picture you like and how many of them you like, and put in the slots. You put them in the slots you like, and it'll automatically show up in the spots that you want it. And it's a bit more exciting, right? You could also use songs that are like trending that as well too. There's a lot of songs on social that are currently doing well and get more traction. This is a great way to get your likes. This is a great way to build your followers, and people share your content as well. This person, for instance, this is someone that created this. In their case, we were using this example, and if we share with our crowd, people are seeing our work, and it entices more people to come back and look at our feed and be like, oh, this is some great work that they're doing, and follow your page because your page is exciting because you're doing stuff like this. Again, it's all trial and error. I myself learned from trial and error. In your case, you would literally go, when you have your listings or your properties, you shoot your properties on your phone. You could easily put them into clips, and you could have them according to the song that you like when on these various components over here. And once you put that together, it basically does all the work for you. You add the text on top of it to highlight where it's located, and vice versa. But that's the main logistics of it, if I'm not mistaken. Kanan, how am I on time? Am I good on time, or Kanan?
I think we're good on time. If anyone has any questions, definitely go ahead. So we weren't kidding when we said that this is more of an advanced session because we've been through some of these processes before. Although this may look difficult during the last 20 minutes of what we've been hearing, it's very straightforward. And I think, Sapendra, what we might do later on is have some in-house sessions. So then we have people can get the online, upfront version of how to use it, right?
Absolutely,
just to make the process easier for them. This is very common. Like, we're now seeing reels, and usually this is what we're seeing majority of the time when it comes to anything real estate related when showing off properties. It only takes a few minutes to make once you get the hang of it, and it's a great product to actually promote your business, or a way to promote your business on social media. It gets a lot of attraction. Some sessions are only 8 seconds, some sessions are 15 seconds. So it's an easy for any viewers to come by, see it, and if they like it, they can share it, and it's a good way to promote your business. Everyone that's tech savvy or social media savvy nowadays are using reels or coming around with this. Definitely, this is where the industry is headed. We're seeing a lot of people doing their own home tours. Although you have your professionals that, for listing presentations purposes, you have it up on MLS, but also through social media, you're having this as well. So that's great. We had one question in the chat box regarding the app itself. Sapendra, if you want to touch on it, I know it's free through Instagram.
So the past, obviously before we had the session, before this new feature came along, it was called Splice. That's unnecessary now because basically Instagram alone adds the time slots for you, and all you have to do is click the images you like for the song specifically, right? So this, what you mentioned over here, it's built in through Instagram, so it is free. All you have to do is click on the use template format that I was referring to in my session. It has the slots of all the times, and you literally have to drag and drop in the images, and you can add text and go from there. Again, on your end, it's more of the sense of, obviously I gave a tutorial of it, but on your end, feel free to obviously do some trial and error and do it on your daily life. Potentially do like a daily life of yourself, like just playing around with it from a personal perspective. So you get a better feel for it in the sense of how you want to go about it, whether if you're going to a restaurant with your friends or if you're going to the beach, et cetera, to get a gel for it. And then eventually when you have a better feel for how to do it, you could obviously take it to the real estate side in regards to listings or highlighting specific areas that you like. If there's something in the Scarborough Town Center, if you want to highlight the areas of Scarborough Town Center, if you have a listing coming up there, you could definitely do that, right? So it's more of a component of that, but like I said, it is a free component that you can use through Instagram that they recently brought on, and it makes it a lot more user friendly for everyone. So you're not breaking your head in regards to editing or anything.
Exactly, yeah, and the trend. This is exactly where the trend is going. So if you want to be on top of the social media game, then it's definitely one thing to understand and actually start to create on your own as well.
100%. There's no excuse. Like again, you have the option to do it at the end of the day, right? And it helps you with your brand, and it helps open a lot of doors, and you will get clients in the future if you keep it consistent. With all sorts of stuff, obviously, with the real estate world, it's all about consistency of
definitely promoting the brand, maintaining.
Right? So it's doing the exact same thing. It's basically doing the exact same thing on social, and kind of get that ball rolling. And eventually, you will evolve. You'll see your progress within a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're like, wow, I've grown this much. Right. So
exactly.
It's more of the sense of making it happen.
Perfect. If anyone has any questions, I think it's a great time to bring that up. If not, we'll definitely have Supendra, having some trainings in class as well, like how we had prior to COVID. We'll definitely start that up. I think that's a better way for everyone to have their laptop in front of them, so that they're going through it as well. That would be very nice. And Reels is just a minor part of the social media game, let's just say, in order to promote your real estate business. It's one of the ones that are most famous right now, as well as other apps such as TikTok and etc., where has the same concept. But this is something that you should definitely try, definitely promote if you have any listings, or even just day-to-day normal lifestyle, like what you're doing, just promoting yourself and intertwining your business into that as well. Just to get your presence on social media on a higher level rather than just normal posts. So we'll go through a lot more. Just want to say thank you again, Supendra, for coming out and helping us with this. We'll definitely have a lot more sessions. If anyone has any questions, type it in the chat box or just unmute yourself and ask. And also we'll share Supendra's contact information as well, email, phone number, and etc. So then you can get access to them if you need to. Supendra, one thing that I really liked is your website. When it comes to real estate agents, I got to bring this up because Supendra's website is amazing. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it, and we want to replicate something like that with HomeLife as well. If Supendra, do you want to screen share your website, or you know what? I think I might have it here. I'm just going to share it here.
Good.
Let me know if everyone can see that. Is it visible there?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. Supendra, do you want to go through it?
It's kind of do you want to refresh it? Yeah, there you go. Should be good now.
Refresh it. Perfect. Will do.
You try on my end. Just give me a second.
Yeah, let me stop the share. You can start yours.
From a website component too, that's another thing that obviously would help when it comes to real estate. We're good to go. You can see it, right? Yeah. So obviously from a website component, you want to obviously this is another add-on in regards to promoting yourself, but you kind of want to have a sense of a bit more of something pops straight away when it comes to your website specifically. So this is something that I drew together. A personal side of myself is I'm a brand ambassador for the city of Toronto, and I do a lot of work within various partnerships. So these are various things that I've definitely took on in my approach. From a website perspective, it's important a way to kind of have a site that kind of illustrates who you are as a person, the work that you've done in the past when it comes to partnerships or with specific developers. You kind of want to highlight that. So you can have an about page where you talk about yourself, where you let people know about your personal background, where you were born and raised, and getting a brief component of that specifically as well. In my case, it's kind of like a plateau where people get a better feel for who you are as a person and kind of getting a better understanding of what you've done, what type of projects you're a part of, and et cetera, et cetera. So my story specifically, obviously has it all written down here specifically, but it's important that I would heavily suggest for you guys to, if there is a way where you can invest in someone to kind of create a website for you where you highlight all your, like what you've done in the past when it comes to working with past partnerships or working with developers or just about yourself in general. Because a lot of you, this is your full-time or maybe your part-time job or your freelance, right? So certain things that I would consider is kind of having a website where you kind of illustrate the main portions of what you do, the work you provide, how to go about it, and going from there, right? So in this website specifically, it basically talks about the main components of like what you do on your side end, what you do on your full-time end, and going from there. This is something obviously you got to build together in the writing concept and kind of making sure that you have all the purpose of that. But at the end of the day, when you have something that's like a solid database, I would say, that has all your information there, it makes a huge difference in regards to yourself, because you can automatically just send over your website to other people to check out, right? And right away they could tell, or they could read more about you, read what you do, read what services you offer, and they reach out to you directly, right? So these are certain components that I would heavily suggest potentially taking on in the future, just because it's like a great way to kind of have everything about you in one specific plateau that you can kind of show to the world and show people who are interested in knowing more about you. Again, real estate's all about personal branding and making sure that your face is out there for the world to see. This is a great way to kind of initiate that and develop it even further. So moving forward, you will have people that will come out to you for your services.
Perfect. So with that, I think we can wrap up our session. Thank you so much to Bender again for coming on board. And anyone, we'll send out Bender's information as well. Feel free to reach out to him if you need any assistance with anything. Other than that, we can have a wonderful weekend. Still sunny outside. So we'll go from there. Thank you again.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
Rasa Ride Sharing Company ARASA.ca என்ற இணையதளத்துக்கு சென்று The Rasa Drivers App-னை டவுன்லோட் செய்து டிரைவர்ஸாக வேலை வாய்ப்பை பெறுங்கள். மாதாந்தம் $4,000 வரை சம்பாதியுங்கள். வணிக நிறுவனங்கள் Rasa இணையதளத்தின் மூலம் மளிகைப் பொருட்கள் மற்றும் உணவுப் பொருட்களை விற்பதோடு வாடிக்கையாளர்களுக்கு டெலிவரி செய்யலாம். தமிழில் தகவல்களை அறியாளையுங்கள். GTA பற்றி 40 ஆண்டுகள் அறிந்து கொண்டவரும் வீடு விற்பனை துறை ஊடாக மக்களால் அறியப்பட்டவருமான சிவா பிள்ளை 416-854-0005. Taxi broker licensed by City of Toronto.